It seems as if the bar that you have to pass to become a state representative these days in America is basically buried underground, because every week we see more and more of these state reps profiled saying crazy racist things, tweeting insane things, and having to backtrack. And yes, I understand there are thousands of state reps, and so I suppose it's easy to find one or two every week. It just keeps on coming. And so today we've got the head of the Oregon Republican Party. They have a new chairman. His name is Art Robinson, and so he's another one of these state-level political operatives. And he's got these crazy things that he has said, and so I can't wait to tell you them. The main one, the first one, is on nuclear waste, and that's what the big headline is. He thinks basically that sprinkling nuclear waste into the water or possibly over the land of America would be good for American health long term. This is what he said. All we need to do with nuclear waste is dilute it to a low radiation level and sprinkle it over the ocean, or even over America after hormesis is better understood and verified with respect to more diseases. If we could use it to enhance our own drinking water here in Oregon, where background radiation is low, it would hermetically enhance our resistance to degenerative diseases. Alas, this would be against the law. Now, I'm not saying that it's not impossible that in some way, some version of this thesis could actually be good for our health. That's not impossible. I mean, vaccines sort of operate in a similar way, I guess, although we don't just sprinkle them over the ocean. But the fact that he said it, like, so confidently, we should do this. We should take nuclear waste and sprinkle it all over America. Alas, this would be against the law. I don't know who is in charge of vetting the head of the Oregon Republican Party, but they fell asleep at the wheel this time. And just to give you an idea, this is not the only crazy thing he said. We've got some other quotes for you. On public schools, he says, public education, tax-financed socialism, has become the most widespread and devastating form of child abuse and racism in the United States. And he goes on to say that basically because of public education, we're too stupid to operate in a modern economy. That might be true, but I don't think the private education would be much of an improvement. And the idea that it is itself a racist system, look, there are huge problems with the public education system in America. But reverting to an entire system of private schools where the poor would be basically screwed and might not be able to send their kids to school at all hardly seems like an improvement, although that might be a hard sell for Art Robinson. Furthermore, he says on climate change, and remember, this is a guy who believes himself to be some kind of scientist because he's talking about hormesis and stuff like that. There is substantial scientific evidence that increases in atmospheric carbon dioxide produce many beneficial effects upon the natural plant and animal environments of the earth. And I love hearing conservatives say stuff like this because it is an indication to me that they are starting to realize that they have lost the fight against global warming, or against the scientific and the public acceptance of the fact of global warming. Because now you have this guy saying it would be great for plants. You have other people coming out this week, Republicans, saying that carbon dioxide is good for plants. You have the guy saying that global warming is causing polar bears to thrive. And so these messages tell me that they realize that they are losing this argument. And so now, if people are going to accept that climate change is happening, we need to convince them that it's a good thing for the earth. And I suppose that that's progress. So eventually, a lot of these statements are from previous years. He's more recently said that he has moved on, that some of the things he talked about are politically impossible, or that they're too complicated to explain in a short time. That certainly seems to be the case. And perhaps it seems like I'm unfairly picking on this guy, but look, he's the head of the GOP in that state. This is the sort of person who finds candidates to run for state office, congressmen, senators, and things like that. He will be involved in those decisions. He will be involved in policy making in Oregon. And we need to shine a light on these dark corners of America, because if we don't, then maybe someday they run for governor, or they run for senator, or they run for president, and these videos need to be out there to cut them off at the knees before that happens.